Season 2 might actually decide whether Battlefield 6 survives long term, because after months of declining player numbers, this was supposed to be the update that brought everyone back. But after looking at what DICE actually delivered, it's becoming clear that this season may not keep players around very long. And the problem isn't even the content, but actually about what this update specifically means for the future of this game. So let's hop in this Franks and break down why this update already feels like it's falling short and what Battlefield 6 desperately needs to do instead. Now, before I go too deep into the game itself, one thing that is unfortunately lost in all of this Battlefield 6 declining discussion is that sadly, lead developer Vince Zampella tragically passed away a few months ago at the time of this recording. And I know that has to be really difficult to navigate through with all the work that still has to be done and leadership changes, so I don't want to dogpile on the developers too much. And in all honesty, the problem with Battlefield 6 is this live service infrastructure that DICE and EA don't seem all in on. So with that said, rest in peace, Mr. Zampella, and prayers out to his family and loved ones. Now, DICE just doesn't seem fully committed to this live service seasonal model of content releases. Either they aren't fully committed or incapable of pumping out enough content to keep us Battlefield fans engaged. The content I'm specifically talking about is the maps. Where Battlefield has always shined is in its variety of sandboxes to play in, all with distinct feels to them. In Battlefield 3 and 4, we got 4 maps per update, and in Battlefield 1, I remember there was a time we got 6 maps in a single update. But since Battlefield 5, we've been getting 2 or sometimes 1 fucking map per update. The community has been complaining about this long enough, and I hate that I'm saying this, but the premium releases of DLC content, where we had to pay for it, was far superior to this format that is currently being used. You guys hear that? That is the sound of how the content is being presented to us in Battlefield 6. Slowly, minimally, and honestly, a slap in the fucking face of us longtime fans. This season was already delayed for a month, and with that extra time, we are still only getting 2 maps this season. Don't get me started on the limited time modes that were added. So Season 2 only has 2 new maps available for us for the next 3 months, and only one of those maps is playable now. So again, we have to wait another month for another map.
Oh damn, I'm a hardcore Battlefield fans thirsty. Here, I got some water for you.
Gee. Thanks, EA. I feel so much better after waiting months for something to be added to the game, only for it to be the bare fucking minimum and break my game occasionally, which is another thing I'll touch on later, because I know a lot of people are experiencing issues with bugs. At this point, it truly feels like EA's unrelenting greed might completely screw over Battlefield 6. EA is on a nice little streak of publishing games and giving us the absolute bare fucking minimum, and then expecting us to open our wallets and buy some stupid ass skin or some crap that's in the game. Look at Skate, or literally any Madden or FIFA game for the last 10 years. DICE and EA need to leave this format of content releases in the dust, because if they don't soon, even the hardcore fans will leave this game behind. Now, besides content releases, the biggest problem with Battlefield 6 is it exposes how mismanaged the resources being used at DICE are. I found this tweet from Charlie Intel saying from a developer on Battlefield 6 that the team lacks resources.
Are you serious, my brother?
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Trash.
I stinks.
This is some of the biggest, most purest pile of shit I've ever smelt in my entire life. So you're telling me the best-selling game of 2025 with the biggest launch in terms of player count in the history of the franchise is short on resources. You're telling me the game with 4 different studios and is published by the $55 billion company EA is lacking in fucking resources. We can smell this bullshit all the way from the moon, bruh. All that tells me is that whoever is managing how these updates are done is either incapable of managing these said resources or has no idea and doesn't give a single fuck about what the community has been asking for. I'm going to prove to you guys just how inefficient they are being with these resources and how mismanaged they are. First off, Season 2 was delayed for another month, when in all honesty, the first 2 seasons of content should have been ready at launch, so they can just focus on patching things and getting the future seasons of content ready. Secondly, they used resources to make a 5-second teaser for the Season 2, and then a cinematic intro trailer, and then a gameplay trailer, which also had cinematic elements in it, of course. DICE, EA. You, person, yes, you watching this video, I can assure you that we would much rather have those resources that were being used to make all these fucking trailers used to improve literally anything gameplay related other than making another fucking trailer, especially one without gameplay. I still can't believe someone actually had the audacity to say the words
Lack of resources.
while being published by one of the biggest gaming publishers in the world.
EA.
I honestly would have rather they said, yeah, we've just been like shitting and pissing ourselves for the last few months, so we don't have enough content. I mean, another sign of mismanagement is how about half? Actually, fuck that. Maybe even more than half of the content in this update is limited time access. Hello, DICE. Is there anybody that realizes your audience is mostly working adults with fucking jobs and lives who thought it was a good idea to make the operations mode a limited time mode? It's insane to me how operations was one of the best modes in Battlefield 1, and they just haven't gotten it right since then. DICE and EA used all these resources to make a majority of the content in this season limited time access, because I guess they thought that the primary audience playing this game was a bunch of fucking Fortnite kids, where these FOMO tactics would really work. This just really shows how DICE and EA, especially EA, are trying to cheaply manufacture hype around the game and are completely fucking up the insane start that Battlefield 6 had. The last thing I want to touch on is this. To sum it up, essentially, a director that's been working on Battlefield 6 said that they are pretty proud of where this season is, and they think this is the biggest season. This will be the biggest season of the game yet, and they are using this as the blueprint for future seasons of Battlefield 6. Now, this is pretty scary to see, actually, because if the team at DICE thinks this is going to have the Battlefield community praising and cheering on the game again, then they are truly and utterly lost.
Well, then you are lost.
For starters, this game is literally not working for people from what I've seen of PC players on Twitter. You're forcing us to grind the battle pass for new weapons and gadgets, and I know I'm not the only one sick of this battle pass shit. The little bird is like a fucking A10 warthog ripping through everything on the map.
What?
Fuck this shit, nigga, this shit gay.
The new LMGs are fucking laser beams. You're drip feeding us content instead of just releasing it all and then fixing things up so everyone can enjoy the game. There's just so many issues with the direction this game is going, and we have to let the people at DICE and EA know that this is not it. Now, not to be totally negative, there were a couple of things I liked about this update. The map is actually really fun to play, except for an escalation. I just think that some of the objective placements in that mode specifically are pretty bad. The little bird being back is nice, though it should get a nerf very soon, in my opinion.
Whoa!
The new weapons, at least the two I used, were very good at base level, which they also should be nerfed pretty soon. With that said, I really hope DICE can turn this ship around, because it is not looking good right now for this game. And it really sucks too, because Battlefield had finally beaten Call of Duty in sales and how the game was received. Only for a couple of months later, Battlefield has fallen right back off, and there's just too many great games coming out for DICE to keep putting out these lackluster seasons of content. So I hope that Battlefield 6 can bounce back, but for now, I'm going to hop in my Franks and take down some bosses in Kazan the First Berserker. So anyways, thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Peace, guys.